Hey photographers, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nate Torres. In this video, I'll be analyzing the composition, color, and lighting used in one of my favorite films, Parasite. This Oscar award-winning film is renowned for its striking cinematography and memorable visual frames. As photographers, there's a lot we can learn from the cinematography of this film. We'll be looking at 10 different scenes from the film and taking a look at how composition, color, and lighting is used in each of these scenes. My goal by the end of this video is for you to walk away with some new ideas and inspiration regarding composition, color, and lighting for your next photos. If you aren't familiar with the film, the theme of the film itself is about greed and class discrimination between the wealthy Park family and the destitute Kim clan. Keep this theme in mind as we analyze the scenes. This way you can better understand the reasoning and choices made in terms of composition, color, and lighting used in the film. And spoiler warning, in case you haven't seen this film yet and don't want spoilers, be sure to watch the film first. That being said, let's dive right in. The first scene we'll be looking at is the opening scene. Without giving too much away, this scene involves the main character, Ki Woo, using his phone. Throughout the movie, the phone is used as a key element. It's a tool used for communication and planning, and serves as a metaphor for connection and disconnection within the narrative. As a storytelling tool, this scene is also used to contrast against the final scene in the movie as well. In terms of composition, Ki Woo is positioned off-center in the frame. He is looking down at his phone, holding it with both of his hands. His placement within the frame and the empty negative space around him suggests isolation and focus. The use of minimal background elements of the sofa and fan also lend to the simplicity and financial situation of his family. The color harmony used in this scene is analogous. The color palette used consists of muted earthy tones such as the beige on the wall and the dark greens of the sofa and the clothes. The lack of saturation and vibrancy is used to mirror the lack of vitality and prosperity in Ki Woo's life. The lighting used in this scene consists of high contrast lighting with a sharp light source coming from the side, creating a form of rim light or side light. This type of lighting adds a symbolic chiaroscuro effect used to suggest duality or internal conflict. The lighting used also helps to create a reflective glow on the phone, which is the main focal point in the scene. This indicates the importance of this device. The second scene we'll be looking at is the scene of the shared bathroom. This scene depicts the characters trying to find a Wi-Fi signal, which is difficult to find in their semi-basement home. It's a moment that shows both their struggles and resourcefulness. They find a way to stay connected to the world that always seems just out of reach due to their socioeconomic status. The composition used in this scene is framing. The characters are crammed into a tight space, with the toilet and wall framing their positioning. This framing and physical closeness enhance the sense of confinement, lack of personal space in their lives, and the feeling of being trapped, further enhancing their lower socioeconomic status. The color harmony used in this scene is analogous. The color palette used in this scene is dominated by browns and yellows, often associated with decay and disrepair. These colors align with the themes throughout the film, such as poverty and the grim realities of lower class. Their clothes also blend in with this color scheme, adding to the characters' integration with their environment. The lighting in this scene isn't too special and is mainly used just to light the set. We have natural light coming from the small windows behind them, adding contrast between light and shadow. And their faces are lit with the room light in front of them. The third scene I'll be analyzing is the gifting of the Scholar's Rock. In this scene, the Scholar's Rock is gifted to the Kim family, which is supposed to bring them wealth. Their fixation on the rock underscores their hope and desperation for a better life, a symbol for social mobility and the illusion of opportunity. The composition used in this scene is framing, layering, and visual triangles. The shot is framed with Ki Woo in the foreground, holding the rock, and his friend Min in the background. Ki Woo is in sharp focus while Min is out of focus due to a wide aperture and shallow depth of field. This composition allows the viewer to focus on Ki Woo and the rock, which is a significant motif used throughout the film. The characters, along with the rock, also create a visual triangle between them. This is a common technique used to achieve balance and focus. The color harmony in this scene is analogous. The colors used are desaturated greens and blues, which can be seen throughout most of the film. The lack of vibrancy is used once again to emphasize the economic struggle and bleak aspects of their lives. The lighting used in this scene is soft light coming from the right side. This lighting allows us to focus on the facial expressions of Ki Woo while he is looking at the rock. The fourth scene we'll be looking at is the street night. In this scene, Ki Woo meets with Min about an opportunity. It's a moment tied between two characters of different socioeconomic statuses. The composition used in this scene are leading lines and framing. The scene is shot from a distance, allowing us to be an observer to the unfolding event. The alley acts as a leading line, drawing our eye through the scene and creating depth. The alley and store also act as framing mechanisms for both characters, possibly symbolizing the disconnect between the two classes, with the road leading to higher ground for Min and a cheap fruit market for Ki Woo. The color harmony used in this scene is complementary. The colors used in this scene are mainly blues, greens, yellows, and oranges. The complementary nature of the colors being opposite on the color wheel adds to the opposite status of both characters. The lighting used in this scene are subdued ambient lights from the street lamps and shop lights. The lighting in this scene lends to the mood and contrast within the scene as well. The fifth scene encompasses 3 individual distinct frames that showcases Ki Woo's journey walking to the Park's family house. The 3 images encompass Ki Woo's first walk to the rich Park house. The composition within these frames incorporates leading lines. The first frame shows Ki Woo leaving his house, and as you can see, it is on even ground. The second frame shows Ki Woo on the bottom of the road with an S-curve leading line leading down to him. This leading line is important because it shows he is symbolically climbing up to get to the rich house of the Parks. The third frame shows Ki Woo now at the top of the road with an S-curve leading down. Ki Woo has now climbed up and can walk to the Park's house. The color harmony used in these frames is analogous. The colors used are green and yellow and have more saturation and vibrancy than the earlier parts of the film, which he was in a lower socioeconomic area. The colors help symbolize the disparity of wealth and life. The lighting used in these frames is natural light during midday. This midday natural light allows there to be contrast between the sunlight and the main character's suit. This allows them to stand out within the frames. The sixth scene encompasses Ki Woo's entrance into the Park house and his introduction with the Park wife. In this scene, Ki Woo is looking outside, watching the housekeeper, Moon Gwang, wake up the wife of the house so she can meet Ki Woo. The composition within the scene includes layering and framing. The scene is composed of a foreground, middle ground, and background. The foreground consists of Ki Woo, the middle ground consists of the housekeeper and the wife, and the background consists of the greenery in the back. This layering creates a sense of separation as we the viewers are placed in the perspective of the onlooker, watching the more affluent world as an outsider both physically with the glass wall and metaphorically. This scene also uses framing. Both Ki Woo and the housekeeper are on one frame divided by the line in the glass wall, while the wife is on the right frame. If you've seen the film, you can recognize the symbolism of this framing choice as Ki Woo and the housekeeper are both in the same socioeconomic status, while the wife is in a different one. The color harmony used in this scene is analogous. The colors used are primarily greens with some yellows. The colors are vibrant and rich, representing the allure and opulence of the wealthy lifestyle that is out of reach for Ki Woo. The lighting in the scene is natural soft light. This type of lighting helps contribute to the serene and idyllic setting of the Park house. The brightness outside, contrasting with the dimmer interior where Ki Woo is at, further symbolizes the disparity between the 2 worlds the characters inhabit. In the 7th scene, we analyze the scene where the sister of Ki Woo gets involved in helping the family as well. This scene takes place within the Park family house when Ki Woo's sister is about to speak with the Park husband and wife about their son. Similar to the previous scene we looked at, the composition used in this scene is a mix of layering and framing. The foreground consists of the plant, the middle ground consists of the sister, and the background consists of the Park husband and wife. The use of layering shows the separation and disconnect between the characters. The color palette within this scene is analogous. The colors used include greens, yellows, and oranges. The overall colors in this scene create a soft glow that add to the homely and affluent atmosphere. The lighting used in this scene is interior lighting used to highlight the main areas of action. First, we have the lighting coming down the stairwell, highlighting our character on the left. Second, we have the lighting at the dinner table, which highlights the Park husband and wife. The lighting used and the contrast between the well-lit and darker areas amplifies the feeling that Ki Woo's sister is also an outsider looking in. In the 8th scene, we'll be looking at the meal the Kims enjoy in the Park house. This scene captures the moment when the Kim family enjoys the luxuries of the Park family's home when they're away. It's a critical point in the film where they indulge in a lifestyle that is far removed from their own. The composition used in this scene is nothing too special and mainly revolves around centered framing. The father is the main focal point and he sits at the center of the frame along with the table. Each character in this scene has a distinct space, yet they are connected. This scene draws comparisons to the famous image The Last Supper, and in a sense is the Kim's Last Supper as well. The color harmony used in this scene is analogous. The colors include greens, oranges, and yellows. This scene is very warm and natural, contrasting with the colder, harsher color scheme in the earlier scenes, showing the stark reality of the Kim's family's socioeconomic status. The lighting used in this scene is warm, soft, and diffused as well, further adding to the sense that they are enjoying a moment of luxury opposed to the cold world they're used to living in. In the 9th scene, we'll be looking at the frames used when the Kims escape the Park family house in the rain. After almost getting caught in the Park house, the Kims leave in the middle of the night during a rainstorm back to their home. In each of these 3 frames, leading lines are used to symbolize that the Kims are moving back down the socioeconomic ladder as they make their way home. The first frame uses the S-curve again to show downward movement. The second frame uses a diagonal leading line to show downward movement. The third frame uses another diagonal leading line to show the final descent to their home. The color palette in these scenes is analogous. The colors in these frames, with the exception of the last frame, are back to the cold color combo of blue and green. In the last frame, during their final descent before they reach home, the color red is used. This red color, now being used for their home, can symbolize the danger and sort of a hell that they now find themselves in with a flooded home and current situation back at the Park family house. The lighting used in these frames is very dark. This further emphasizes the current situation the Kims are now in, and how they're feeling. In the 10th scene, we'll be looking at one of the final moments in the film. In this scene, the father is leaving the basement to reunite with his family in a dream that Ki Woo is having. In terms of composition, the father is positioned off-center, walking from a brighter area into a more shadowed space. This represents his transition or movement from being trapped to being free. The use of negative space with the vastness of the room hints at the feeling of isolation and now freedom that he is currently experiencing. The color harmony used in this scene is analogous. The colors used are mostly soft yellows, browns, and greens. The dominant color are the yellows, emphasizing the aspect of freedom and joy. The lighting used in this scene is natural light. The direct light creates a silhouette of the father that you can see on the wall. Silhouettes often represent anonymity or a loss of identity, a theme that resonates with the movie's exploration of class. And those are the 10 scenes from Parasite. Each of these scenes highlights the film's masterful use of visual storytelling while exploring the complex themes of aspirations, wealth disparity, class discrimination, and social standings. Parasite is an excellent film to study as a photographer, so you can see how to utilize composition, color, and lighting to better enhance the story you want to tell through your images. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more photo analysis. Thanks for watching.